How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all cranked up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Jean-Léon Gérôme. I think I'm saying that right, but probably not. Comments down below. Wonderful, amazing artist who influenced and taught one of my favorites, who is Bridgman. If you don't know George Bridgman, Google him. Awesome. Get his books. Phenomenal. Just great stuff. I mean, just look at how beautiful this piece is. I really like this piece because I think it's laid out so well. You've got this great sense of depth here. You've got these two dogs here that are on kind of the same plane, and you've got this one and the foot that are kind of on a middle plane here, and then these two which kind of rest there, and then behind that you've got another wall, and you've got this dog here, and then these people, then this. It's just so, there's such a huge spanning sense of depth here. It's just gorgeous. I think the posing and silhouette is just wonderfully done. Beautiful anatomy and great kind of eye contact and directing the viewer to look right here where you've got the brightest amount of light coming through as well. You've got this blending of the movement from the foot up here, from the hand to the eye. It just all lends itself, kind of gives you these invisible lines for where he wants the viewer to be looking. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. And I really love the way that he renders his textures and everything too. Just amazing. Again, another beautiful, phenomenal piece here. The death of Julius Caesar. It's another gorgeous, gorgeous piece. I think the way that, like I said, the way that he does textures and the way that he does, his lighting as well. The drapery in the cloth, and you can tell the difference between the wooden seats versus the marble arches versus the cloth versus all those different things are just so gorgeously captured. I really love all the bright colors in this one. It reminds me a lot of the split pea soup restaurant that my parents used to take me to when I was a little boy. They had beautiful flower beds out there right by there. Another phenomenal piece. I love this posing, and then you have the character reaching up to get pardoned by the emperor here. All like crowd turning him down. It's a lovely piece. It really engages the viewer to just continue to look and see everything. You've got all the characters over here looking down at this one. You've got these wonderfully posed characters here, and just the strength in this posing as well, and the idea of him stepping on the neck and dominating the other character. Just a wonderful kind of glimpse and capture of that Roman gladiator mentality. So I urge you guys to check out more stuff from him. I think he is gorgeous and such a talent. But I did want to share a quote that I was able to find from him, and that was, I hate imitators, people who put works together out of older works. These men are blind unless they are looking with someone else's eyes, and who produce only the mistakes of the masters they draw from. There's a little more of kind of a reverse inspiration, a little more, but I like to look at it in a positive light of, try and be original, learn from the old masters, but don't copy, kind of piggybacking on what we were talking about yesterday. And I think you have to develop your own eye, and it's a tough thing to do. And it only comes through practice and through study and through mistakes and through growing. And just, for me, one of the things that was really a big kind of revelation when I was first learning to animate that I didn't do right away was I didn't watch my stuff enough. I would get in there and I would work on it, but I wouldn't watch it. And I feel like probably even to my own detriment, I watch it more than I should, but I feel like it helps me. It helps me to just, pause, step back, watch it, look at it, figure out what I don't like, what I do like, and kind of getting that critical eye. And not that you want to be critical per se, that you want to be negative, but that you want to find out specifically, what is it that I like about this? What is it that I think could be better? And to develop that repertoire of discernment in your own work. So let's go ahead and get into some animation here before I ramble on too much. Again, just the quick, we are using Autodesk Maya 2014. We're using the Goon rig from the How to Cheat in Maya series. As always, there will be links to everything we've talked about so far in the description down below if you guys want to check out any of that stuff. And we're just continuing on this shot. But I think I'm going to take kind of a break from what we have sort of been working on here and try out something that'll be just a little bit different, give us a little bit where we're still working on the same shot but kind of mixing it up a little bit. So what I thought we would do is add some extra kind of dead characters on the side, so we get to practice and play around with our posing a little bit more, take a break from kind of the necessarily breakdown stage, and work on kind of our layout and our composition and add a little bit more character to everything by having some more background characters, and maybe add a tree or a rock or something here just to kind of play with our layout a little bit more, so that way we can still work on the same shot but kind of get a little bit of a different view on it. So first thing I want to do is I want to get a couple more characters in here. So before I do that, I'm just going to pause the stream real quick and duplicate my file. Okay, another reason why I wanted to do this together with you guys is I had a couple questions recently about how to do this. So just went up to File and then Import, and then we pop up with this screen. And then what we want to do is actually go to my desktop where I have, and again, pardon all the files and everything. I wish I had time, or I wish I thought to clean this up a little bit more. So the Goon rig is the normal one that I use here, which would be here. So I'm just going to right click that and copy that and go back to, this is just where I have everything located right now. This is just the Skirmish shot file that I have right now. And we've got our recordings here, we've got our different variations of the file, we've got our little background and header images here. And we're just going to go ahead and paste that again here. But I'm going to rename it here to be Goon rig, and let's just call this B1. Okay, and we'll close that out, and then so we'll go to our desktop here, go to our Skirmish animation, and go to let's see where to put that, Goon rig B1, and import that. And if we did that correctly, it should give us another copy of our character so that we can pose that out. And we've got that in here, great. And we'll go ahead and make sure we have our NURB curves back on. We'll go ahead and save our file real quick and wait for that to go. And we'll go ahead and move him over. And let's go to Window, Rendering Editors, Hypershade, and we'll change his skin color here, or the color, so we'll have like two sides here. We'll have the left hand side army and the right hand side army, and they'll each have their own kind of, I guess, a suit of armor colors, I guess is what we could go with. So let's take our color and we'll go with, again, we want to bring that out, and we won't make them exactly the same, but we'll definitely make them similar here. Okay, and then I want him to be dead, and these are just going to be, like I said, background characters here, just so they add a little bit more interest to our overall layout. I'll go ahead and bring him back here, and I'll bring it over. And again, this gives us a chance to play around with some of our posing here and give us a different opportunity for pushing our shot further without doing the same thing over and over again. Back here. as flat as we can to the ground. And maybe even, let's rotate it so that it's a little bit like this. Bring that over. Rotate that foot again, since I'm not really going to be animating these characters. They're just going to be dead characters. I'm not worried too much about how I'm getting the poses, just that the poses end up coming off here. Get that knee twist. And maybe we should give him a little more curvature here. Switch these hands over to IK, just because we get exactly the pose we want rather than playing off some stuff here. I'll bring that over a little bit more. Twist up here, get that head over, down. Get that hand over here, up a little bit more. Okay, again, these are just going to be kind of background characters, so I'm not too worried about them. But do want to come up with some fun poses here. And I love, if you ever want to try a little bit of an exercise, one of the first things that was an exercise that we had to do when I was first learning was to come up with like an emotion and to try to come up with different poses that could express that emotion in different ways, and just to press your mind to be thinking through different things and different ways to get the same idea across. And that's always a fun exercise to do, especially like with facial expressions too. If you ever want to push, feel like you're getting a little stagnant in your posing or anything, those are fun little exercises to do. So you say, I want to make poses that are angry, so you come up with 10 different variations of how to do an angry pose. That's just a fun little exercise if you guys are looking to try something where you're not really having to worry about your arcs and your spacing and your timing and all that stuff, but just pressing your posing a little bit more. It's always fun to do. I find posing is one of my favorite aspects, actually, because I feel like that's more akin to how I work I really like drawing myself, which is not always what you're doing when you're doing 3D animation. It's a little bit different, so whenever I get that chance to really play with the posing, I always have fun, for sure. You can really get in there and make some funky stuff. Just create some interesting hand poses and everything here. And I'm still trying to do these fairly quickly so we can do a lot of them. But I want them to be interesting as well. And get that thumb to be dropped down here. Just a more interesting hand pose than having it flat on the ground like we have this one. And again, that's okay, but let's make the fingers a little bit more interesting. Spread it out a little bit. Go here. There. Bring that up a little bit. There. And this up. There. Alright, and then we also want to look at just overall with that kind of read. Okay, that's alright. So So let's go ahead and put another one kind of in this space. Actually, let's spread them out here. So we do another character over here. So let's do a similar thing here. I'm just going to pause the recording. As soon as I can find it, close that window there. Okay. All right. And so just did another copy and just renamed this to rig B2. And we're going to import that again. Again, it'll give us another copy of our character here. And I think before I start building up on this side, I want to kind of do it evenly. So 1 for 1. So we'll bring this guy actually over here. I'll go ahead and lay him in the back over there. And let's go ahead and look at our hypershade again. And make sure that we make this one just so we can kind of have an army on both. And they don't have to be exactly the same side or color here. And let's go ahead and kind of have this guy die a little more to camera, just so we get some more variation here. Put that over here, that over here, and get that knee out. I don't know, this stuff's always more fun to me, doing the layout and building of the shot. I always have a good time doing that because it's really kind of more relaxing to me because I'm not too worried about making it work and making it look correct, but just kind of making it, having fun with that. And sometimes you want to do that too, just so you don't stagnate with doing the same stuff over and over again all the time. And let's actually flat it here. Twist here, a little bit over there. Curl our spine. Still want it to be kind of flat against the ground here. Again, I'm not too worried about how I'm going about doing this because I'm not going to have to animate it or anything. I'm just looking for what's the most interesting pose we can kind of come up with here. Shoulder back. Bring the shoulder up a little bit more. Is it going to read okay? Maybe we should put him a little more on his side just so that it reads a little better. Switch the hands again over into IK. Bring that down over. And hopefully, we'll just see how much time gives us. We'll just do one day of this, so I'll try and do some fairly quick poses and everything through here. Try and get as many of these characters into the battle as we can. How are we doing on time anyways here? Oh, we're doing fine. Okay. Put this over and down. And bring the head. Over and down here. Just extend that arm out. Maybe we'll leave it up here. Get that elbow so it's going in the right direction there. tweak that pose a little bit more. Zero it out here again. And drag it a little bit back. There. And we'll again throw this hand up here. Get that elbow down. Interesting. Let's get the hand poses working a little bit better. Bend that up just so it's a little more interesting. Bring that up a little bit. Still here, there, get that index all the way back there, get the thumb, just be a little more interesting. Maybe let's do a little bit of roll on the pinky there. Let's go toe. Here, perhaps drop the knee a little bit more. Yeah, I think that looks a little more dead. And again, let's go ahead and tweak this hand pose a little bit more. First of all, I'll have it laid down in a more interesting position. And I'll just do a little bit on all the tips here. A little bit on the mids. Curl it in a little bit. Bring that down, over. Up a little bit so we can hopefully still see that controller here. Okay. Do something a little more like that. Okay. And drop that index down. And middle down. And that thumb as well. Okay. Should we maybe go a little bit further with the head forward? And rotate the head back a little over and down so it's still on the ground. It's a little more interesting. Alright, so we got a couple dead characters here. Let's go ahead and save our file here. I think I want to create maybe like a tree in the background to throw a character hanging over one of the branches of the tree. So should save an alternate version just in case while I'm doing this here. Alright, now it's been a little while since I've, as I tell you, I'm never proclaiming to be a wonderful, amazing modeler, but I think we can get something out of here. So let's create a cylinder here. Raise that up. Alright. Yeah, let's bring that up and over. And show our faces there. Okay, I'll go ahead and push that over a little bit. Bring this up. Actually, let's bring, just going to turn that background off real quick. Bring this up. And go back to faces here. Bring that up. Shrink twist it, stretch it up a little bit more. Look at the bottom, and squash that, or rather push it out a little bit more. And select that and go, what is that, edit mesh, extrude. Bring that up a little bit more. Hold on. Let's do just the faces up top. Make sure I'm just grabbing the right stuff. And go again, edit mesh, extrude, bring that up. Over. Again, it's not going to be the world's most amazing kind of a tree, but we'll get something workable. And again, we'll do that again. And edit mesh, extrude again. Bring that up again. Bring it back a little bit. Over. Get a little more crooked. Back this way. Up here. And I'll do edit mesh, extrude again. Bring that up. And we'll make it a little bit thinner up here, but top. Bring it up a little bit more. And then one more time. Alright, and just one more so we can kind of taper it off a little bit more. And one last time. Okay. Now let's go ahead and grab this, and actually let's grab a couple of them here. And go edit mesh, extrude again. Bring that out. Bring that down. Actually, we'll push it back a little bit more. And edit mesh, extrude one more time. Bring that out again. Kind of want to get to a place where it's a little more branch-like. Now edit mesh, extrude one more time. Bring it out here. And make it a little bit wider. There. Actually, let's step back. Let's do that here. And kind of get more of a squarish kind of a shape there. And then we can extrude out of there. So it gives me a little bit more of something interesting. And we'll go ahead and scale that up a little bit more. Actually, let's still go back here. Scale it up from there. Extrude one more time, bring that out, up, bring it in, and one more time, bring that up, out, inward again, and we'll go a little bit this way here. And time. Rotate it up a little bit. Kind of give a little bit of variation to our thin and thickness there. And one more time here. Okay, taper it off there. And I think one last time. mesh, insert edge loop tool. Go ahead and throw that there. Let's see. Hold on. Make sure we're doing it in the right place. And maybe we'll do it a different way. I'm gonna go back to faces. I'm gonna grab this one. Edit mesh, extrude. Hold on. Come on. Go back to faces here. And then there we go. Edit mesh, extrude. There we go. And bring that out here. And taper it in a little bit more. And go again. Too. Let's push it forward, rotate it a bit. Edit mesh, extrude one more time, bring that out, taper it in, bring it down a little bit, rotate it a little bit more here. Alright, that's fine. I want to create a big branch kind of coming out of here. So I think this is the one that I want to have a character kind of hanging over. I think that would be fun. Kind of have that in the background, or maybe we'll throw it just up on the top one. Because I don't want it to be too distracting when they come in. So we have some kind of a prop in the background there. Maybe we'll just have a character off to the side of it instead. So in that case, let's still make this a little more interesting. So we'll grab here, edit mesh, extrude there, bring that back, bring that up and in. And again, this is, you know, quick little props. These aren't super polished or anything, just something that'll give us a little more excitement throughout the background of our shot here. And I always like to create my own stuff. I tend to, there's plenty of stuff you can get out there that's you know, free resources, but when given the chance to create my own props, I always have fun just kind of making them, and then you can kind of lay them out with your composition a little bit better. Okay, I'll extrude that a little bit more. And we could spend, you know, a whole hour just modeling this tree. I still want to get some more background characters working, so I'm trying to go quickly with this. Taper it up a little bit more, and we'll go and grab this, extrude, bring that out, again taper it off a little bit, go up here, over, and we'll extrude that, bring that up and over, taper it, rotate it a little bit more here, and extrude it again, bring it up, over, taper it, a couple more times here. And let's go ahead and go off of here, extrude that one, bring that off, taper it a little bit more. You can have fun doing this stuff all day long. Bring that up a little bit, over, extrude it again, bring it up, over. Try and make sure that it's still kind of keeping with the tree mechanics here. Let's do this one. smaller. Extrude again. That in, just so we have a little bit of variety here on the end of this branch. And maybe we'll splinter off a little bit here towards the top as well. So I'll go edit mesh, extrude again, bring that over and up, shrink it down, inward. Just try and give this tree a little bit of kind of personality here. And let's go ahead and just play with this a little bit, just so the base feels a little bit different of this tree. Bring that out. Bring that out a little bit. Let's be careful that we don't break our geometry too much. It starts looking a little funky. So I want to blend these in together a little bit more. Probably throw in another edge loop, but I'm trying to do this quick, so let's see. Let's just maybe bring those down, rotate them a little bit. Over. Push all that over a little bit more. Tilt that just a little bit. Skinny that up a little bit more. And perhaps I can bring this down a little bit as well. Rotate it over. That's going to break it too much, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So let's also just grab all that and squish it a little bit more. Tilt it just a little bit. And bring all that up and tilt that a little bit more. Let's go take a couple steps back. Okay. So are we still going to be able to kind of get this in frame when we look at everything? Let's go to our, what camera were we, do we have some camera moves on? I think that was perspective 5 there. So let's go to object mode. Just want this to kind of be, so we can still get our good silhouettes, and take it and translate X and push that back a little bit. Let's see. Just so it kind of helps frame our shot a little bit more. So again, we're going to want to push this over here. Maybe a little bit further back. And a little bit more over. Try and find that nice spot where it just frames everything. Adds a little bit of interest to the background. Alright, and that's also smooth everything there a little bit more too. See if that worked better, or if we want to go back. Where were we at? No. Take a couple steps back. is a little funky, but we'll go with that. If we just did this here. One second here. Oh well, it took a little bit longer than I was hoping. Let's assign a new material to it. Put a Lambert on there. And if we could find this, that'd be wonderful. I'm gonna delete the history on here. And we'll go ahead and make that more of a brownish color here. Something that kind of plays off the muted color of the background if we can. Feels a little too green, so let's make it a little more brown. There we go. Let's just make sure that we only have one key on here. We don't need a million on this ground plane so that that's shifting. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and, if we can do it, you could have a character laying off the top of here. So let's add another character here. So I'm just going to pause. And again, we're just going to import another character in here. Just copy that one, so I'll import that again. And we'll go ahead and grab him, move him so that he's like dead in the tree. I think that's a fun idea. Something a little bit different. This back a little bit more though. And this one we're going to need to scale it in X a little, or in Z a little bit more. Maybe push it back a little bit too. And let's go back to this character. And break down here. Over. Again, let's continue to rotate this a little bit more. Bring that down and back. Rotate that back. Try and bend this a little bit. Actually, let's maybe even have him, I was thinking slam down, but let's maybe have him like he's flat against here. Might be more interesting. So we want to try and get it as flat to that as we can. Maybe a little bit of rotate over here into the side. Case we will leave the arms in FK here. Drop that shoulder down, drop that arm down, take the head, we'll drop that down over. Normally I don't move the spine quite like that, but he's supposed to be dead anyway, so a little bit of broken spine It's just going to help us get that feel a little bit more anyways. Bring that head down even more. And I have to move this for a second there. Actually, now let's move this here. I'll move the hips back. So we get those feet controllers. Bring that all the way down. Rotate that down and over. Yeah, let's look at the other foot here. I think we gotta have a little bit of curvature in the hips here, just so we can have some varying height to our legs so they don't feel like they're in the same spot really. Yeah, let's also throw a little bit of this in there as well. Okay, and again, let's keep tweaking the chest a little bit more. I'll need to bring this one back up here. Over. Drop that shoulder as far as it'll go here. And we'll drop this one too. Drop that. Actually, let's put this arm up over the top of the branch, kind of resting there. Bring this arm back here. Actually, let's just switch this arm to IK, it'll be easier. Give me that pose I want. Like I said, whenever I'm wanting something to feel planted or resting on something, I tend to switch to IK rather than FK. So this arm hanging down, we like it in FK, but if we want this thing to feel planted and really get that pose that we want, it's a little bit easier to get that working this way. Bring that down a little bit more. Over. Try and still get a good silhouette there. The toe dragging down. And same with this one. I'm gonna grab that controller here. Get that toe dragging down a little bit more, and I think we'll rotate it down overall a little bit more too. So you still get some negative space in between those legs here. And get that thumb down, dragging there. Do a little bit of pull in on those fingers. Get the weight really feeling there. And we'll do just a little bit of curl in the mids and the tips, just so it's not so straight there. A little bit of roll there. And push the mid there a little bit more. Okay, and let's look back at this hand. Do that. Like I said, something just a little bit different for today. We can just have some fun doing some posing, doing some layout for our shot, and help stuff that just helps the storytelling overall of this, rather than looking always at just the movement, but this way we're looking a little more at the composition, which is always fun. And again, probably if I was to, what I usually do in shots that would be more for a reel or for a client or something would be to do this stuff kind of first, just so that I could get the composition, so that I can work the animation a little bit more around there. But I was thinking of, you know, what would be fun to share with you guys and hang out with you guys about tonight, and I thought this would be something a little bit different, still keeping in our same kind of main vein though. And I know we're actually getting close to our time, but I want to still do a few more of these characters here, so maybe we'll make this one a little bit longer. We'll see. We'll see. I know I'm at least going to do one more because I want there to be not more characters of one of the armies versus the other. See, just the layout's kind of a little more interesting here. I think we need a couple more here. Maybe another one there, because this is, I think this layout works pretty well here. But I think we need a few more over there. And maybe a character like up in this space here. Let's change his color a little bit more. So go here to our hyper shade, and I was gonna throw one of the darker characters, the darker army here, but I think the white works better in the background overall. There. Let's go do that, but just add a little bit more there. Okay. So let's go ahead and do at least one more. Maybe we'll do a couple of these tomorrow too. It's kind of fun doing these with you guys. Okay, we got another one in here, and because I wanted this whole thing just to favor this last kind of pose here. So I think another character being up, let's kind of look at that camera angle that we were looking at before. So I think another one being up, kind of occupying this space might work really well. Get that kind of flow of movement here, and maybe one over there in that space. Again, let's just kind of make sure that we're not losing any of our big silhouettes by having these characters blend through there. But I think one over here, we don't really use this space very much, so I think that might be fun there. So go ahead and throw one right here, and maybe it'll be with its back to camera here. So let's go ahead and do that. Switch back to what we're looking through perspective 1. And let's try and get this character here. And we'll move him a little bit closer to camera too, which will give us a sense of depth. So we'll have stuff that's right in the foreground, the main action in the middle ground, and have a little bit in the background too. Let's go ahead and turn him with his back to camera. And feet facing this way. We'll have to see. And we'll go bend the spine a little bit more, get him a little bit into that kind of like fetal position. Get this foot up, over here, and this foot up here, over, back, tilt it over a little bit. don't want it to be too similar to that other one though. So let's see, what can we do to be more interesting? Could do something where we get the head off or something. That might be fun. See if we can disconnect. We might have to get another rig in here though. So we have a little bit of gruesomeness to it. That could be fun. Let's go ahead and look at our last camera angle and bring him a little bit closer. A little bit more to camera, kind of like this. No, that might be a little too much in cam. A little too close to cam as well. So let's go ahead and push him a little bit more like that. Maybe we'll scale him down a little bit, make him a little bit smaller than some of the other ones. I don't know. Just seems too busy now. Feels like it works fine from there. Maybe we'll just retool the camera a little bit more. Go back to kind of the original perspective that we're looking through for all this stuff. We'll just leave a wider lens here for everything. First of all, let's go ahead and change the color on this one so he feels like he fits in a little bit more. The other part of the army. Okay, well, let's do a play blast and just see how it plays with everything going. Alright, I think it's okay. I think we need to bring this character in a little bit more. And then probably need to retool the composition a little bit here just so that the silhouette's a little bit better. Maybe nudge that tree a little bit over. But I think it works well for the ending part. Okay. So let's go ahead and nudge this character. Turn your curves back on. Push him a little bit more into frame here. And alright, we'll grab everything and hide these other controllers. So let's go ahead and actually zoom out here. Where were we? I think I want this. Let's see if we can push it a little bit closer. Yeah, I feel like that's fairly decent layout. Make sure we're still going here. So let's go ahead and create another camera again. Let's just go to perspective 4, that's fine. And we want to create another layer just so we can hide all of these things here, because these ones for some reason don't show up as NURB curves, so I'll have to just do shift selecting all of these so I can throw them all in same layer here. And I think I'm going to change the color of the ground layer as well to be more like the color of the tree, so that the darker army characters show up a little bit better. So I feel like right now they kind of blend into the ground plane a little bit too much. And I want them to show up a little bit more. So again, then we're just going to create another layer and hide all that. Okay. And then I want to grab this one and change the color to be more like that, but a little bit darker still. Maybe even just so those characters show up a little bit more. There, kind of show up a little bit better there. Still kind of go off the similar color that we have here. Alright, let's do another play blast, and then I'll probably have to wrap this up for today, even though I would have liked to get into a little bit more. I think we got some more interesting things. I think our layout's a little bit more intriguing here. So I'm just going to play blast this and we'll be right back. Alright, so I think this layout's more interesting, a little more intriguing. Definitely still need to polish up some animation, but I figured we've been doing this for a few days. Might be fun to just take a little break and do something different. So I think that was definitely a little more interesting, something a little bit different for today's video. We ended up playing around with some posing, threw in some different characters, made a little tree, made a little prop. So we got some fun stuff working in this one, and definitely a little bit different. So I'll give us something different to talk about while we were going through this. So let's take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Jean-Léon Gérôme. Again, comments down below. I'm sure I'm butchering that name, but a phenomenal painter. Just an amazing talent. And he said, "I hate imitators, people who put works together out of older works. These men are blind unless they are looking with someone else's eyes, and who produce only the mistakes of the masters they draw from." So, you know, even the people that you look up to as amazing artists that are your inspiration and everything, you know, they still make mistakes and everything too. So that's why it's important to develop your own eye and your own sense of style and your own voice, but still, you know, try and master the fundamentals and the basics so that you know the principles of something that's successful, but then make it your own and develop your own eye. Don't, you know, wait around for someone else to tell you how to do it or what's the right way or what's not the right way, but go out there and make your own mistakes and take another step in your journey towards mastering whatever medium it is that you're passionate about. And I love you guys lots. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed this one. It's a little bit different than kind of what we normally do, but we got to talk about some subjects that were a little bit different, and had some fun along the way too. So like always, if you guys are working on something, feel free to throw your links down below so I can give you some thumbs up or some encouragement, or any sort of comments. If you disagree with anything that we did through here, or you would have done it a different way, happy to hear that and learn from you guys as well. And I think that'll wrap it up before I ramble on for too long. So you guys are amazing. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. You guys are amazing. We're really getting a lot more subscribers lately, so I appreciate it. Thanks, and I hope you're enjoying this as always. If there's something that you want to play around with or questions you have or anything, I'm happy to help with whatever knowledge and abilities that I have. And yeah, that'll do it for today. You guys are awesome and amazing, so keep being awesome, and we will see you for some more animation, some more imagination, some more creativity tomorrow.